Okay, so this is a practice final for you. It should be fairly straightforward, but let's just go through it. All right, so 32 divided by 7, it's going to look like this. 7 goes into 32 4 times, so I believe that's 28. And then the remainder is 4. So our quotient is 4 and our remainder is 4. Oh, that's not very interesting. That's funny. Not very interesting at all. Here, let me mute that. Okay. So that's the first one. Should be fairly straightforward. This second one, it's a fraction divided by a fraction. And when we have a fraction divided by a fraction, what ends up happening is we have a fraction times the reciprocal of the denominator. So, that's a bummer too. Nothing's going to really go into it. Well, let's see. I can go 5 and then 3 times 3 times 3 times 5 over 2. And then we can see that the 3's will cancel. And so I should get 25 over 6. And that should be my answer there. All right, these are all fairly straightforward from the beginning of the semester, right? Nothing too crazy. Okay, this next set is just to see if an ordered pair works. So basically, these 4 ordered pairs will be plugged in here, and we see if it makes it true. So we'll go 7 times a 7 times a negative 2 minus 4 times 6. Is that equal to a negative 5? It doesn't look like it, right? Because a negative and negative is going to be added up. So it's a negative 14 minus 24. But that's going to be a negative 38. Excuse me. So this one's clearly a no. And then this one is going to be 7 times 1 minus 4 times 3. And that's supposed to be equal to negative 5. Well, let's see. That's going to be 7 minus 12. And that is negative 5. So this one's yes. And then let's see if the others work. But the process is pretty straightforward, right? Yes. That's going to be negative 21 plus 16. And that is negative 5. So this is a yes. Very cool. 7 times 4 minus 4 times 2. That's 28 minus 8. That's 20. So that's clearly a no. All right. Any questions on this? No, pretty straightforward. All right, cool. All right, let's go to this next one. Now, one of the things that's important with this problem here is we know that vertical angles are equal. So those two are equal to each other, right? So I'm going to go 10x minus 41 is equal to 79. Then what I'm going to do is add 41. So that's going to be 0, 8. I believe that's 120. So x is going to be 12. Okay, so the other thing that we know is that these two angles add up to 180, right? So I'm going to go z plus 79 is equal to 180. So z is going to be equal to 101. Okay, so that's the important piece. Those angles that form a straight line, that's going to be 180. And then vertical angles are always equal to each other. Okay? That's very, very important. All right, next problem. All right, so it says Lamar sold 500 liters of soda at a baseball game. How many milliliters? How much is this in milliliters? So milliliters is multiplying liters by 1,000, right? So I'm going to go 500 times 1,000 is going to give me 500,000 milliliters. So centimeter would be multiplying by 100. If we had liters and we were going to go to like a kilo, then we would divide by 1,000, right? So it's not too bad. But let me mute you. The important piece is to know your notation. So make sure that you get that down right. All right. So number 6, it says to simplify. And so I know that 3 times 2 is 6. And I know 3 times 3 is 9. And so this 3 and this 3 can cancel. And so my simplified answer is 2/3. Okay. So far you can see this final is not going to be too bad. It's really pretty straightforward. Especially if you've covered all your topics, it should be very straightforward. All right, so number 7 says, Sam jogs 3 1/3 miles from her house. Then she jogs 5 1/4 miles further. How many miles did she jog in all? So basically it's saying 3 1/3 plus 5 1/4. And so the way that I do this problem is I'm going to change my mixed number into an improper. So I'm going to get 10 over 3 plus 21 over 4. Does everyone remember how to do that? Okay. So then from here now I need common denominators, and so the common denominator is going to be 12. So I multiplied 3 by 4, so I have to multiply that 10 by 4, so that's going to give me 40. And then over here, I multiplied my 4 by 3, so the 21's got to be multiplied by 3, so that'll be 63. Wow. Something in my throat. So 103 divided by 12, and then they want that as a mixed number. So 103 divided by 12 is going to be 8, and 8 I believe is 96. So we're going to get a remainder of 5 over 12. Let me just confirm that. 96, yeah. Oh, 7 over 12. I can't add. And that's my answer for this one. Any questions on this one? No? We're all right? All right. All right, here's number 8. And it says to shade it so it's 2/3. So we want to break this up into 3 groups. So this is a group, this is a group, and this is a group, right? So that they're even. And then to shade 2/3, this would be 1/3, and then this would be 2/3. So understanding how to break it up, the denominator is telling you to break it up into even groups of 3. Those even groups of 3 means there's going to be 2 rectangles in each group. All right? Okay. Now this next one, it says find the area. We need to remember that area of a rectangle is length times width. So that should be 7 times 12. 7 times 12 is 84. And then we want it in feet, but we also need it squared because area is squared. Any questions so far on these first 9? We're all right? Okay. Okay. Number 10 says what number is 1,000 more than 2394. So basically all this is saying is 2,398 plus 1,000. So that should be 3,398. Just making sure that we understand what's going on there, right? Okay. Wow, number 12. 8 plus 8. 16. 13 now it says to simplify. And so now we're getting into some more of the...
So you skipped 11.
Oh, I did. Oh, I did. That's funny. Thank you. So with number 11, it's... Thank you for pointing that out. It's going to be 26 divided by 11. So how many times is 11 going to 26? That's 2. So that's 22. Bring down a 4. Add a 0. So that's going to be 3. So 2.3. Subtract that. So we're going to get 7. Add another 0. Bring that down. So that's going to be 6. 66. That's going to be 4. Bring another one down. 3. And I bet you what's going to happen here, it's going to start repeating. So that's 33. There's 7. Bring down a 0. And then we see that that's going to be a 6. And so we know that we can write this as 236 with the bar over. Because the 36 is going to repeat over and over again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, I did 12, 13. Now we need to distribute this negative and then combine like terms, right? So I'm going to get 6x squared y minus 2y squared plus 5x minus 4xy squared minus x plus 7x squared y. Now remember, it's got to be the same variable to the same exponent in order to be able to be combined. So this and this can be combined. So that's going to give me 13x squared y. And then the only other thing that can be combined is this 5x and this minus x. So that's going to give me plus 4x minus 4x squared y and then minus 2y squared. We okay with that? Remember, same exponent, same variable to same exponent is the only way that you can combine them. If they're not, you cannot combine them. All right. It says Manuel drinks 2.5 pints of milk each day. How many cups is this? Oh, okay, so let me see. I need to remember this stuff. It's been a while since I've done pints and cups. Let me just pull this up real quick. Sorry. These silly conversions. Sorry. Do I sound okay to you guys? It seems like my internet's kind of running slow.
I can hear you good.
I don't know what's going on with my internet. 15. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the ratios. I don't remember. Quarts, pints, all that stuff. This is 14. All right. All right, here we go. Sorry. Okay, so pints, each pint is a cup. So that's important. So this is one thing that I would look up, and I'll write it down for you guys here just so you guys have it. So 1 cup equals 8 ounces. 1 pint equals 2 cups. 1 quart is 2 pints, and then 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. Just so you guys have it. So then 2.5 pints of milk each day would be, each pint is 2 cups, so that's 4, and then a half of a pint is another cup, so it should be 5 cups that he drinks a day. Does that make sense? Okay, just making sure because those ratios matter. So have this down somewhere so that you know it. All right, finding the perimeter of a square. What do we know about a square?
They're all equal sides.
Yeah, that's right. So this is 28, this is 28, this is 28. So to go all the way around would be 28 added 4 times, or 28 times 4. 32, that's 12, that's 152 inches all the way around. Let me make sure. 152. Silly me. That's 8 plus. Geez, I'm off today. Sorry. So it's 112 inches all the way around. All right. So this next problem, it wants us to answer it in a mixed number form. So when I multiply this, the first thing that I do is I always convert back to impropers. So I'm going to go 4 times 1 times 29 over 10. And then that's going to be 4 times 29. What the heck is that? 116 divided by 10. And then 10 goes into that 11 times, and then we have a remainder of 6 over 10, and that should simplify to 3/5. And that's my answer. Is there any questions on that one?
No.
No, we're good? All right. Now this next one, remember, exponent raised to exponent tells us to multiply. So I'm going to get v to the 16, w to the 8th, and then that negative 3 is going to be to the 4th. So I'm going to get v to the 16th. What is that? 9 times 9 is 81. W to the 8th. And that's the answer to that one. But remember, exponent raised to exponent tells us to multiply. If I had v to the 4th times v to the 4th, there we add. So make sure that you get the distinction between the two rules. Okay? All right, here's number 18. Find the value of x minus 7. If x is 19, so I'm going to go 19 minus 7. That tells me my answer is 12. Okay? All right. 19 tells us that we need to multiply these like bases. So what should we get? Isn't that v to the 3rd times v to the 1st times v to the 5th? So I'm going to go 3 plus 1 plus 5, which should give me v to the 9th. Sorry, I was just muting someone. And there's my answer. All right, let's look at number 20. And this really isn't too bad in terms of being able to do this problem. So they're telling us to use the radius or to use pi to be 3.14. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this up, and what ends up happening is this is a half circle, right? I'm just going to show you the way that I attack this problem. That's a half circle. That's a half circle. And then the middle is just a rectangle. So the middle is going to be 54 times 83 plus some circle, right? But the circle has a diameter of 54. Does that make sense how I'm doing this?
Yes.
Okay, so then 54 times 83 is going to give me that area, right? Because we're looking for the area. So that's going to be 4,482 plus the area is pi r squared, right? So I'm going to go 3.14 times the radius, which is half of 54, so that should be 27 squared. So I'm going to go 4,482 plus 27 squared times 3.14 is going to be 2289. How many decimal spots do they want? I'll just give you the whole thing, 0.06. Okay. So then adding that up, 4,482 plus my answer is going to give me 6,771.06, and we should be in meters what? Anybody? Should be meters squared. Okay. All right, 21. I'm going to subtract 5 from here, so I got to subtract 5 from here. And so what I should get is W is equal to 4, and that's my answer. And we could even plug it in, right? What's 5 plus 4? That's 9, so I know my answer is correct. All right. 22. They want us to write it as a decimal, so I'm not going to worry about the 3. I'm just going to worry about the 7 over 40. So I'm going to go 40 and 7, add a 0. That's going to be 0. So that's going to be 1. And 30, bring down a 0. I believe that's going to be 7. So that's 28. Bring down another 0. 5. And so my answer should be, there's the decimal, 3.175. Any questions on that one?
No.
All right. Now, for A here, what we do is we're going to move the decimal 2 spots over. So it should be 19.6%. And then this one is a decimal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move the decimal 2 spots to the left. So I should get 0.085. Does that make sense?
Yes.
When making a percent, you divide by 100. I'm sorry. When making a percent from a decimal, you multiply by 100. When taking a percent to a decimal, you divide by 100. So let me just write that down. So in the top one, in the first one, I'm going to multiply by 100, and in the bottom one, I divide by 100. Okay, this is for number 23, just so you guys know, right? Going 2%, sorry, I need to turn off that noise, it'll bug me. This is going 2%, and then this one's going to decimal. All right, 24. So they want us to divide this, so I'm going to go 55.2 divided by 4.8. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to 48 and 552. So I multiplied both by 10. So that's going to go in once. I believe that's 72. I think it only goes in once. So that's 48. 72 minus 48. Let me just see. That's 24. Bring down a 0. And then that's going to be a 5. Now, since I brought the 0, the decimal goes there. That's exactly 240. And my answer ends up being 11.5 for that one. We okay? When dealing with problems that already have decimals, try to eliminate the decimals or eliminate the decimals. It just makes it much cleaner to do. All right. So for 25, it says use a calculator to write this as a percent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 7 divided by 81. And then to write it as a percent, I'm going to multiply by 100. Okay? So 7 divided by 81 times 100 should give me 8.64%. So does that make sense? You take your decimal and then multiply by 100. Oh, and it wants it to the nearest tenth. So then 8.6%. Any questions on any of these so far?
No.
Oh, we're good? Okay, cool. All right, now it's asking us to fill in the table. So they're telling us that x is -1 in this first one. So I'm going to go -4 times -1 plus 3. That's going to be 4 plus 3, which is 7. And then -4 times 0 plus 3 is going to give me 0 plus 3, which is 3. -4 times 1 plus 3 is going to give me -4 plus 3, which gives me a -1. And then -4 times 2 plus 3 is a -8 plus 3, which is -5. Hold on one second. Sorry, my wife is giving me coffee. Sorry. Okay, 27. So here they're trying to mix it up. They're just trying to confuse you. Don't worry about getting confused. Just write them so that they're like terms. So it means 6 times 2, and then we're going to multiply x to the 8th with x to the 3rd, and then u to the 8th times u. And just u is to the first power, correct? So then what's 6 times 2? Ooh, I forgot a 3 too. Let's not forget the 3. So 6 times 2 times 3, that's 6 times 6, that's going to be 36. We're going to add the exponents, so 8 plus 3 for x is going to give me 11. And then u is going to give me 8 plus 1 is going to give me 9. Is that straightforward enough?
Yeah.
All right. 28. I'm going to go 24 divided by, I have to do the parentheses first, so that's 6. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So basically it's just a simple order of operations problem, but they're trying to make sure that you get that and understand it. All right, number 29, what is 95% of a number? So what means x is equal, 95% is 0.95, of means what? Do you remember? It means to multiply 35. So then x should equal 0.95 times 35, which will be 33.25. Okay, just remember, is equal, of is multiply. Okay, all right, and then the last one. This actually isn't too bad. Let's look at how they have their markings. I bet you there's 7 lines in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the 8th one gets us to 1. So that's telling me that each one of these is 1/8. Okay? So if I got to get 7/8, that's going to be less than 1 but bigger than 0. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I should put a dot there. That is 7/8. Okay? Then 2 3/4 should be something that is between 2 and 3. And remember, each one's an eighth. So 1/8, 2/8 is a quarter, correct? Then this is 3/8, then this is 4/8, and 4/8 is a half, right? 5/8 and 6/8, so 6/8 is 3/4, 7/8, and then 8/8 takes us to the next number, which is 3. So 2 3/4 should put a dot right here. And this is 2 3/4. And that's the test.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, it should be really pretty straightforward for you guys. I'm not trying to kill you with this thing. But if you study and go over this practice exam that I just did with you guys for the final, you should really kill the final. Okay, I'm going to stop recording just so I don't make this video too long, and then I can answer any questions you might have.